All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of X Talking Ish with your boy X.
And this.
You already know what to do. If you are on Facebook, please make sure you like and share this broadcast. If you are on our Facebook page, please make sure you go ahead and like the actual X Talking Ish Facebook page. And as well, if you are, of course, on YouTube, please make sure you go ahead and hit that red subscribe button and go ahead and hit that notification bells for shows like this one in the future.
Ding.
Thank you for that, sir. And as well, if you are
Mm-hmm.
on Twitter, you already know what to do. Go ahead and check us out at X Talking Ish on Twitter. And if you want to go ahead and check us out at my personal page at X_Williams81, you can go ahead and check out the live stream on Periscope as well on there. All righty then, Ish. We know why. The gang is back all once again on a Tuesday night to talk about the recap of this game we call the Super Bowl. I don't know if anybody's heard of it, but it's this very special event that happens on a Sunday that a lot of people like to wager some money on and see, well, if they can get some money back from it. And if you want some money out there, either playing, going to the casino, hustling your friend, your family members, or playing some squares. I hope you was able to come up with on a little, a couple dollars here and there. But overall, of course, we'll get into all of the Super Bowl from the beginning, the middle, the end, the commercials, the halftime show, Matt Stafford's Hall of Fame status, Aaron Donald's status on if he still wants to be a active football player, and also as well, will Sean McVay stay a head coach for the Los Angeles Rams? There's a lot of different topics we have for tonight. It's going to be very interesting talking about them to my brother Ishmael and also talking about them to our family we have in the comment sections. I know you guys that are in the comment sections are ready to talk about what happened during the Super Bowl. So please let us know how you feel. First comment, of course, as always, is our boy Fractor Walnut. He says, "What's good, fellas?" That was a hell of a game. And he also said the halftime show was fire. And hey, for the most part, depending on age group, I would think for the most part, you either liked it or you hated it, or you just, right? So, first things first, before we get into the halftime show, let's actually talk about the game itself. Ish, I'll throw it to you. Um, on a scale of 1 to 10, was it kind of everything that you expected on the high end, or was it kind of like meh? What'd you think?
It was decent. It was a decent game. The game itself was pretty good. I wouldn't say it was like, yeah, it wasn't up to par with some of the rest of the games we had in the playoffs. I mean, it's kind of hard to top some of these other games we had, conference championship week and the week before. Those games, I mean, end to end, were really good. This one kind of had a lull somewhere in the middle. And it was interesting to see the turnaround from Cincinnati after halftime and see, the excitement from there. But then in the third quarter kind of got a little bogged down. And then the fourth quarter, it was picking up the suspense towards the end, and it really picked up, with LA's last drive. So it was good. I mean, it was good. It wasn't, outstanding, but it was good. I, I was
So
rocking
one,
with it.
one, 1 to 10. 1 to 10 is what you got.
I give it like a 8, maybe a
Solid
solid
eight.
8,
Okay, that's not bad.
maybe
I
a
give it.
7.5,
That's what I was rating. I was thinking a good 7.5. I wasn't mad at the
Yeah,
game, but we didn't. I didn't have a horse in the race. I just wanted to see a good game. I felt like I got a good game.
yeah.
To be completely honest, again, having no horse in the race, I was just kind of disappointed how the game ended. What I mean by that is the whole first 3 quarters, the referees let these guys play. We even saw the first play after the second half where T. Higgins kind of pulled down Jalen Ramsey in his helmet. And if you're watching that at a certain angle, you're probably questioning the ref. Why is that flag not being thrown? But if you do look and see where the referee is lined up, he's not able to see what
But
happened with
they
T.
they ain't see
Higgins
that
at
man. They
all.
ain't see that man body
They
flying
did
all over the
not. I
place.
mean,
Oh,
because
come
again,
on.
Ish, if you go look back on that play, the sideline judge is 15 yards behind Jalen Ramsey and T. Higgins. So by the time T Higgins adjusts for the ball and catches the ball, it happened so quickly. It shocked everybody that T Higgins scored a touchdown on that play. And again, you know that. Let's go rewind the tape and go look at that first play of the second half. By the time T Higgins caught the ball and was on the 10-yard line, everybody was like, "What the hell is going on?" At the end of the day, was it a missed call? Yes, but that wasn't just the only missed call in that game. And we're not going to say that one play changed the game, and that other play changed the game. There was a cumulative different plays that could have swayed the game here and there, right? Because at one point in time for the Rams, it looked like they were the ones that were self-destructing. Let's remind everybody. Let's go back. After that touchdown pass, the Rams come on offense, and Matt Stafford throws an interception. Right? Not his fault, but off of the hands of a receiver, throws an interception, and all of a sudden, the momentum is shifting.
Oh,
the momentum
is not shifting. It has shifted.
Yeah, and I'm listening. No, go ahead.
No, I mean, I don't think it was shifting. I think at that point, when he came back on and he threw that pick, I think the momentum had completely swung to Cincinnati. I think everybody out there who have been paying attention to the playoffs were thinking, here we go again. Bengals come out in the second half. They about to, start putting it on them. And, it was a little bit disappointing from a Bengals standpoint because it seemed like the defense was doing everything they could to give that offense a chance to run away with the game, and they just couldn't pull it out. But the momentum had completely shifted, and let's just be honest. LA really, after the whole OBJ situation happened, LA was really clinging. They were holding on to the string on offense. Like they couldn't run the ball all night long. That Cincinnati defensive line, the front seven for Cincinnati, wow, they played outstanding. I mean, they deserved to win the Super Bowl. It just, man, it's we call it the ultimate team game. Ultimately, it just didn't happen for them. But like you said, once that momentum shifted early on, LA was on the ropes. They were on the ropes. And, it reminded me kind of with the Tennessee Titans and Cincinnati game earlier in the playoffs, where it seemed like, Tennessee had a chance to pull away from Cincinnati and they allow Cincinnati to stay in the game. Mm-hmm. Cincinnati ends up winning that game. Mm-hmm. It was similar to that for me, where the Bengals defense were doing everything they could to try and let the offense pull away, and they let LA stay in the game. They let them stay in the game, and then unfortunately for them, that when it counted the most, LA found a way.
I definitely agree with everything that you're saying, and I'll get into my 2 cents right quick after we get to the comments from Fractual Walnut. He says, like Dennis Green said, the Rams are who we thought they were, and the Bengals let them off the hook. Fractual Walnut also says, I knew the Bengals were going to lose when that guy ran onto the field and cost them yards who wasn't even active. Goddamn Texans. Of course, talking about Hargraves, wasn't active for the game, was dressed out in street clothes or warm-up clothes, whatever you want to call them. And if you didn't really see it at the time after that interception, they, instead of starting on the 25, they started on the 10-yard line. So that's something that could have played a part in the game too, to where instead of starting on 25 and Joe Burrow leads them down the field, maybe kick a field goal before half, you start on 10, you don't get any points, you punt the ball away, and we are where we're at. But he also, just to finish up what Fracture Walnut is saying, he says, but did you see Chase burn Ramsey on the last play when Joe got sacked?
Okay.
I did see that, but I'm listening. Just go ahead and say something on that.
I really want to address that. And there's a lot of things that I saw throughout the game as a former DB that I wanted to break down. So I'm looking for the all 22 film so I can do a session. I'm thinking about doing, something at some point here in the next couple of days where I'm going to break down a bunch of tape on the secondary from the Super Bowl for both teams, because there is a lot from Jalen Ramsey. I did see that last play where people have still shots of Chase behind Ramsey and Ramsey falling down. But if you do look at the still shot at that point, Burrow had kind of the ball was already kind of in the air. He was trying to get rid of it. So I don't know if the play goes on, does he see him and does he get the ball to him? I don't know.
Probably not.
It's hard to say because it's a still shot. It's not really a full on
And
Cap,
and,
and
and
the
let's
pressure's
remind
there.
everybody. Let's remind everybody too. It was a 4th and 1 play. During the 4th and 1 play, you're trying to just get the
Yeah, he's
first
probably
down.
gonna tuck
You're
that
just
and
trying to get the
run
first down. We're not we're
throwing
not
it
trying
deep.
to. That's a low probability play to try to throw a 40-yard touchdown pass when all you need is 1 yard.
But
Now I'm listening. Let's go.
no, I was just gonna say a lot of people are posting it. They're saying like, "Oh man, if he had a little bit more time," and it's like there's so much that's going on there. It's hard to say, but yeah, I saw it. It went with the trend over the night. Ramsey was getting burnt left and right. To be honest,
And I think that's interesting too. We talk about Ramsey coming into this game. A lot of people probably would have given the edge to Ramsey because he's probably more proven. He's been there, done that. But the reason why I also chose the Cincinnati Bengals to win this game is because I feel like these guys on this team just don't care who y'all are, and I mean that very respectfully. They're not scared of y'all. The Cincinnati Bengals came into the game was not scared of the Los Angeles Rams at all, especially on that first drive where Joe Burrow threw it up to Chase and he caught it one handed. I mean that right there, I think, kind of set the tone because if you look at that play as well too, Jalen Ramsey did hold to where they could have called that a flag too, but to have Chase make that catch, I told myself, all right, we got us. We're going to have us a game because the Bengals are not coming into this game scared and playing cautiously, right? They're throwing it up. They're throwing it up against Jalen Ramsey too at that. So I knew from the beginning Jalen wasn't going to have one of those typical NFL games where he's only getting tried twice a game and he's shutting down half of the field. No, you're going to work today. And that's what happened to where I think, I'm not saying he got exposed, but he definitely got worked on. He got worked on Sunday night. And at the end of the day, that's what competition, especially in NFL, is about. The best of the best are playing in that stage. And hey, I'll be honest with you, Jalen Ramsey better thank his lucky stars that the Rams won because he would be on the wrong side of the Eli Apple slander because Eli Apple's getting his share amount of grief, and he deserves it because I agree. No, I agree. I agree, but we all know the way that Eli Apple has done his playoff run this year that everybody was waiting for him to finally eat some humble pie and was ready to get on him. I don't think he had a bad game. I even said on this show, in the pregame show, don't be surprised if he actually has a pretty decent game. But unfortunately, when it comes to certain plays, a lot of people are going to nitpick some of the things that Eli Apple did not do. That's all, Ish.
I mean, I just feel like, a lot of people piling it on because he obviously made himself a villain. But he only had 2 bad plays, and I wouldn't even say 2 bad plays. He had 1 bad play where he bid on the play action and cost them a touchdown. And that last play, anybody who has ever played corner or DB in their life, anyone who has played the position knows the hardest throw to defend on the goal line is a back shoulder throw. And he was there. I mean, he was there. He could have been a little bit closer, could have maybe had a step or two closer to him, but he played it the right way, got his arm through, tried to play through the arms and through the ball. Unfortunately for him, Cooper Kupp really,
just a better matchup. And also, I like the way they broke it down on NFL Live because I didn't realize it at the time at the play. But when you go back and look at it, if you look at the formation, because usually again, we play wide receiver, of course, since the heyday of the early start of the spread offense. We are probably the originators of playing in this type of offense back when we were in high school, right? And usually the outside receivers are going to be on the ball. The slot receivers are off the ball, right? Unless you have some type of inverted formation to where you want the outside receivers off the ball. So that's what they did, where the inside receivers on the ball. So Cooper Kupp was able to have a yard off of the ball to where his corner wasn't going to press him. Exactly. Really press him. So you have Kupp has an opportunity to be able to get off of him and not get jammed to be able to put himself in position to make that catch. So I just thought that was also great play design by Sean McVay and the staff to be able to put their best players in position to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough call for Eli Apple. Let's just be honest and call it what it is. He was in he was at a disadvantage. When you're a corner in that spot, you're at a disadvantage. Now, do you get paid to go out there and make that play? Yes, you do. If you make that play, does your team win the Super Bowl? Most likely. But at the end of the day, he just wasn't there. I think he's getting a lot of flack just because he made himself a villain on social media, but I
Oh
don't think
yeah,
he
oh
had
yeah.
a horrible
No, I
game.
agree. No, I agree. We on the same page.
But I
On the
do
same
agree
page.
with you from the standpoint of Jalen Ramsey. Now, if they hadn't won the game, I think Jalen Ramsey would have been made to
I'm just
be
saying.
the fool. He would
I'm
have been
just
the fool
saying.
for real, for sure. He would have been the guy that everybody would have been looking at like, sir, you got burnt too many times and allowed too many big
And
plays.
you get paid too much money to be getting toasted like that. That's all. All right, let me get to the comment section for Fracture Walnut. He also says Bengals would have walked off if they had a better O-line play. They need to go get the top 2 guards in free agency, and I'll get to that in a second when it comes to Joe Burrow and this team, because I completely agree. 70 sacks throughout the season, of course, the most in the NFL, and for them to still get to the Super Bowl and almost win the game, I mean, that's a testament to itself with what they were able to deal with. And we'll see what happens in the offseason with the Bengals with the decision they go either in free agency or through the draft. Fracture One also says, Yo, X, as a former wide receiver, why didn't 34, he's talking about Samaje Perine, dive for the ball in that 4th and 1. He just put a lazy hand out there, went half-assed in the Super Bowl, shaking my head. Well, at that time, and I agree with you. I looked at it too, like, why aren't you diving? I think because of the camera angles that we were given at that time, it looks like the ball is closer than you think. But if you turn the ball, turn the camera to the end zone, the ball might have been 2 yards to where it's just even if you dive, you're not going to be able to get it. But I agree, it's a Super Bowl last game. You're supposed to go all out, no matter what.
Laid all out on the line.
I think as athletes, we should all be on that same page of no matter what's going on, you're supposed to go all out. It's the last game. Do what you got to do. I honestly can't answer that question because I'm not Samaje Perine. I don't know what was going on in his head. I don't know if he even really knew. Because remember, Samaje wasn't playing throughout the whole game. He came in certain packages. So maybe he thought it was 3rd and 1. I don't know what was going through his head. Maybe he thought, oh, it's all good. We can go back to the Lions 4th and 1 now. But I want to talk about that sequence of plays as well in a second. Let me get to my boy Lee. He also says, does Burrow deserve some of the criticism with all of these? He's talking about the hype, all this hype and all of these great comparison. Didn't have 39 QBR with 1 touchdown, and if it weren't for that awful Higgins play, he would have had 188 yards, no touchdowns, and an 18 QBR. He missed some throws, so normally he usually hits. I mean, Lee, you're correct. I'm not gonna say that you're wrong at all. I feel like Lee feels the type of way because his boy Mahomes not in the Super Bowl, so you want to make sure that Joe Burrow gets the same type of criticism as what Patrick Mahomes gets. But again, I respect it. But look, at the end of the day, anybody knows football. Everybody knew that Joe Burrow offensive line was the weakest link coming into this game, and everybody knew Aaron Donald and the crew were going to get to Joe Burrow. The question is could they at least hold the water that's being held by this dam? Could they hold it back long enough to let Joe Burrow cook a little bit? And it just seemed like it wasn't happening, especially in that mid-3rd quarter. They just came after him like some wild pack of hyenas. And he tied the Super Bowl record with Roger Staubach for a bad reason, for having 7 sacks on Joe Burrow. And going back to what Fracture Walnut said, just imagine if Joe Burrow had a decent offensive line. Could have been a completely different game. But I feel like in the first half, at least, you can agree or disagree. The first half, I feel like Cincinnati Bengals had a great game plan. Touch the ball, get the ball out. Touch the ball, get the ball out. Don't let Joe Burrow hold the ball for more than 2.5 seconds.
I feel like that's what changed. I feel like that's what changed. I feel like when it got early in the second half and they hit a couple of those long balls, I feel like they started feeling a little too comfortable and thinking like, okay, we can run a little bit more 3-step drop. We can run a little bit more developing routes. When early on, what was working so well was that you were getting the ball out before they could even get to you. But as soon as they started holding the ball, they started running deeper routes. That's when we saw the problems come. Not to mention, let's say what it was, because I think at first they were still trying to do the quick routes, but LA also made the
I mean,
adjustment.
adjustments
They
on defense,
made
yeah.
Von Miller. Von Miller started to slant to the inside. They were like, all right, well, you double Aaron Donald. Now we're gonna get Von Miller. We're gonna let him slant back to the inside. We're gonna put him on your weakest link. And Von Miller, he did what he needed to do. He was making the plays. He was applying that pressure, and I think that got into Joe Burrow's head as well. I think he got happy feet. He started to really expect the pressure, and when you're expecting the pressure back there, it makes you do some things that you don't normally do. Anticipating throws the wrong, putting it in the wrong spot, throwing it a little too quick. It gets the timing off, and I think they did a good job of adjusting. LA did a good job of adjusting, and then making Joe Burrow have to think a little bit more back there. He's still a young guy. Let's remember this guy. I mean, he's a young quarterback. So for him to be in the biggest game of his career and have the kind of pressure that he had, I mean, it is what it is, man.
I think he played well. I don't think he played horrible. I mean, again, 22 for 23, 263 yards, eight yards per catch. I mean, again, he got sacked 7 times. I mean, QBR. Look, let's just be real. I understand we measure quarterbacks on QBR and all these other stupid ass stats. Let's watch the film, okay? That's what I see. That's what I look at. And at the end of the day, Joe Burrow, I think he played well. I don't think he played horrible. And to be honest with you, I think Matt Stafford almost played himself into not being able to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt Stafford, again, 3 touchdowns, yes, but he also threw 2 interceptions. And one interception, of course, we talked about, got tipped. I'm not going to give him that one, but the one where he threw it in the back of the end zone, I knew when the ball was thrown, I was like, this is a pick. Watch this is a pick. And it ended up being that because at the time I just felt like he got happy. He was feeling himself. He had that earlier touchdown at Cup, and he wanted to, I think, test the waters, and he got burnt at that time. But he was able to settle down. He was able to make the right throws. Of course, he made the beautiful no-look throw in the fourth quarter to Cup, which will probably be on his which will now be a new highlight for Matt Stafford because let's be real, ever since before coming to the Rams, the only highlight he had with the Lions was his rookie year when he messed his shoulder and tried to lead the Lions down to a game-winning touchdown drive in a regular season game, which, again, nobody gives a damn about. But because it's Matt Stafford and he has nothing but lowlights for the Lions, that was his only highlight. But now the run that he had with the Rams, it helps put him in a different category than what he was before. So what we're going to segue into, and I'll get to Lee's comment very, very shortly, I want to segue into, so who should have won the MVP? Because there are a lot of people out here that feel, I don't say some type of way about who won the MVP, but feels like maybe it should have been Aaron Donald, right? Cooper Kupp, we don't mind, that's a great pick. Maybe some people might feel like it was Matt Stafford to end to end the Hollywood story for Matt Stafford, but for me, I feel like the 2 plays that solidified reason why I think Aaron Donald should win MVP is because of that 3rd and 1 play and that 4th and 1 play. And for people to say, man, how in the hell you don't get a yard? The reason why you don't get a yard is because of the greatest defensive lineman that we're going to ever see in our generation. Because he was the one that said, I'm not going to let you get a yard. And he himself stopped Mixon on 3rd and 1.
Real quick.
And then I'm listening.
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
You said in our generation.
In our generation, yep. Warren Sapp is a part of that.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say.
I know what you're going.
So are you putting him over Warren Sapp?
Yes, sir. Right now, yes, sir.
Okay.
You want to know why?
Go ahead.
You want to know why?
Go ahead.
Because the comparisons I completely understand, and I understand why you would, put either Warren Sapp above him, or why you would say I feel like Warren Sapp was better and this, that, and that. I completely understand why. But when you look at what Aaron Donald is doing in an era where passing is so overblown now to where you can't touch a quarterback, you can't do anything on defense, and he's still out here dominating and is the best. Everybody knows he's the best defensive player out here. Period. End of story, right? And for him to have an All-Pro every year, he probably could be defensive player almost probably every year. And for him to finally get that Super Bowl ring that he's probably should have now had probably 2 now, it helps put him in a status of Warren Sapp has his. They both have going to have their accolades. But when it comes to just straight dominating, Warren Sapp did that. The difference between what I'll say, the difference between Warren Sapp and Aaron Donald is Aaron Donald initials is AD for a reason because he can go all day. Warren Sapp can go for a drive or two, have to go to the sideline, get you some water, miss a couple plays, and then come back again. Aaron Donald going all day, chase you sideline to sideline, and that man is dangerous. Dangerous. I'm saying that very, very lightly. All right, let me go ahead and get off the Aaron Donald love fest and throw it back to you when it comes to. My bad. Let me before I throw it back to you. I'm sorry. Let me get to the comments. So I won't forget about Lee. My bad. He says dominating the Rams offensive line. Do you double cover Cooper Kupp inside the 5-yard line, or do you trust your front 8 or 9 to stop the run if they were to run? They were only passing inside the 5-yard line, though. He also says one interception was a punt. I mean, I got that. I understand. But again, that's the reason why I say some of these stats are skewed in a way there. You can't just always look at the stats. We got to look at the film as well, too. One interception was a punt. It was also 3rd and 15. It was on purpose to either jump ball to touchdown or to be a punt. Other one was a drop. Both picks weren't because of bad throws. Look, I got you. I understand that. But this is Super Bowl. Okay, this ain't a regular season game, nor is it a wild card game. We're not using these interceptions was used at the punt. We're not doing that. Nope, a punt is a punt in the Super Bowl. Sorry, Lee. I can't agree with you on that one. So that's an interception that's going on Stafford's record. It is what it is. But the second one, like I said, was not Matthew Stafford's fault. Fracture One also says Kupp all the way, bro. That 4th and 1 play he grabbed was the momentum swing in the game. Bengals were rolling, and Matt had just thrown a pick on that last drive, then to finish the game off with a game with a touchdown. All right, Ish, back to the question. Do you feel like it could have been somebody else other than Cooper Kupp?
Cooper Kupp. And I'll justify it this way. I'm not mad at anybody that's saying Aaron Donald. What we saw in those last 2 plays to secure the victory, those were the things of legends, right? I agree that, man, you owe a lot of that victory to Aaron Donald and him making the play when he needed to make the play. Most definitely. However, I will say that he was a little bit assisted from the play of Von Miller. Like we were just talking about, when they made that adjustment in the second half, the pressure wasn't actually coming from Aaron Donald. If you go back and think about it, the pressure was coming from Von Miller. Aaron Donald was, for a long time, he was kind of absent for a while. And then when he needed to step up, he stepped up. But I think he was able to step up like that because Von Miller had made that adjustment.
He was absent because the nigga was getting double teamed all the damn time. The adjustment on the defensive side had to free him up so he could be able to get that one-on-one matchup. But I'm listening.
But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that it's his fault or he played bad. What I'm just saying is, in order for him to get the opportunity in those last 2 plays, he needed Von Miller to do what he did, right? Okay, cool. I say Cooper Kupp because the guy that you would say the equivalent to Von Miller for Aaron Donald on the offensive side for LA would be Odell Beckham Jr., who got hurt. And when he went down, there was no mystery of who they were going to. And there was no mystery of how they were going to adjust the coverage. And they adjusted the coverage. And for a long time, it seemed like, okay, maybe they figured it out. LA couldn't do anything. That last drive, I think I counted it. He ran the ball. He had 3 receptions. Then he was targeted on the 3rd and goal, which they got the defensive holding on to give them another opportunity. And then he had the game-winning touchdown catch. To me, when all the pressure is on this offense, you couldn't run the ball. The rest of the receivers, let's be honest, most people were out there dropping balls, barely could catch the ball, juggling it. I mean, a simple 3-yard route with juggling the ball and everything. Everybody knew who they were going to that last drive, and they there was no mystery of who the ball was going to. Sean McVay was calling up all the plays for Cooper Kupp. Even Matt Stafford in his interview after the game was like, well, McVay was calling the plays for Cooper, and Cooper was going out there, he was making the play. It was Cooper Kupp, man. Cooper Kupp did what he needed to be done when everybody knew he was the person that was going to get it done. Honestly, without him on the offensive side of the ball, I don't know that they drive down and they score. Can we just say that? I don't know that happens. So I don't blame
That's the
anyone
great. That's the great
saying
mystery, right?
I don't blame anyone saying Aaron Donald, but for me, I just have to go with Cooper Cup. I think he deserved it. He's
I
one or
wouldn't
two
be mad
people
if
who
it was
deserved it.
at least co MVP. I wouldn't be
Yeah,
mad if it was
yeah,
co.
I'm
That's
cool with
all.
that.
But
I think both
yeah.
of them deserved
I'm
it.
not mad. I'm not
Whoever you
mad.
pick,
Cup got it. He deserves
yeah,
it as well
whatever.
too. I'm just again, this is a wide receiver saying this. That's all. I'm just I like Cup, and then we'll go into what this is a topic we'll go into in the offseason as well, talking about who is the best receiver in the NFL. There's a lot of receivers out here. A lot of people feel like it's still Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, Cup. I mean, is this a 1 year thing? Can Cup continue to keep doing this on a year-to-year basis with Matt Stafford? Be
Well,
very
they'll be
interesting to see
back.
what happens.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of that plays into does Odell come back? Does he come back
Well,
to LA? Does he
you're
go
gonna
to
be
KC?
Odell will be out for at least 6 to 8 months at least.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to see, like you said, if Odell is even back with the Rams. Where he already said that he'll give the Rams a discount. See what happened. Robert Woods, of course, supposed to be coming back from his ACL injury as well too. So
Hmm.
we'll see what happens. So let's stay in the moment when it comes to the overblown, overhype that we have going on and being in the moment. And respectfully, when this was going on, I'm not gonna lie, I was riding the Matt Stafford train. I was one of the few that was saying, you know what? It's not his fault he was with this shitty franchise we call the Detroit Lions. It's the Detroit Lions' fault that they're holding him hostage of greatness.
Hmm.
And he was able to achieve that in just 1 year with the Rams being able to win all his playoff games and of course win the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
But that does not mean that you are automatically entered into the Hall of Fame by just doing that 1 year. So I'm gonna let you start off first, my friend, since I've said a mouthful already. Quick and easy question: is Matt Stafford at this moment a Hall of Famer?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, for me, for what we call the Hall of Fame and the Hall of Fame, what it should stand for, what it should mean. Um, I think that it's supposed to be reserved for the best of the best, right?
Supposedly,
And I think we're starting to water it down. Some of these players that they were really good players, or they were even great players. We're starting to let all of them in. We want them all to get in, and it's like we should be reserving this for the best of the best, right? I mean, I'm looking at his career stats. He's 11th in
he's
passes
that's
completed,
he have
12th
almost
in
fifty
pass
thousand yards
attempts.
receiving. I mean,
Yeah, you're 12th in passing yards, almost 50,000, like you said. He's 5 yards away from that. 12th in passing touchdowns, 21st in passer rating, but who cares about that really when it
nope,
comes down to it?
nope.
I mean, for me, it's just like, yeah, he has really good stats as far as career wise. But then again, another thing that I have to take into account for that is the era in which he played, right? And when you're looking at somebody who's 12th in passing touchdowns in the era of throwing the ball all the dang time, and to combine with you play with Calvin Johnson,
Megatron,
Megatron,
who's a Hall of
like
Famer.
I'm, I'm sorry, but some of that's going to play against you, is going to work against you. And for me, looking at the numbers, where you rank, take into account the era in which you played in, I can't put you in the Hall of Fame. I think you're one of those players that
Hall of
ultimately you're going to
Good.
go down as really good, great, Hall of Great maybe, but I don't think Hall of Fame yet. Now, if he's able to, do this again next year, I think that may automatically solidify him in the Hall of Fame. But right now, I think he's one of those bubble cases that is going to be number of ballots where we're going to be talking about, wait, should he get in? Who is he up against? Also, I think it's going to depend on who retires around him,
True,
because like
true.
let's look at it right
That
now.
5 year time period that you got to wait before you
Yeah, I
even
mean,
get
you retired. If he retired this year, let's just say he retired this year. I don't think he's retiring, but let's say he retired this year.
Tom
You
Brady gonna
retired
get
with
in
Tom
before you.
Brady.
Tom
Oh
Brady.
no, yeah,
We know you ain't getting in first ballot, so go ahead and pump your brakes there, sir.
get out of there. Oh, okay, so then, okay, let's say you retire next year. Ben Roethlisberger.
Ben
Is Ben
Roethlisberger's still
Roethlisberger
getting in
gonna get
before
in?
you. I
So
mean, we on the same page. We on the same page. I'm just
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, there are a number of things to take into account, and for me, it's just the case against him is too strong. It's too strong. It's too strong for me to say he's in.
Completely understand. Let me get into my spiel right quick. I'm gonna piggyback off of what Fracture Wanda is saying on this question that he has in the comment section. He says, "Does this 1 year with the Rams cancel out what he did in Detroit
No.
and to make it very very short? No, sir. It doesn't work like that. I will say that it validates the trade. I'll say it validates that what we kind of everybody in football circles kind of already knew about Matt Stafford and always felt that he was a good quarterback. He just needed to be on a better team, a better franchise that can actually put him in position to succeed.
Yep.
All of those things, those check marks on the boxes are being checked. But that Hall of Fame box, the reason why and I'm just telling everybody my spiel on how I feel about it. If you let Matt Stafford in after having only 3 playoff wins and 1 Super Bowl, okay, now you're opening up Pandora's box on all these other quarterbacks prior to him that either have a Super Bowl, have multiple Super Bowls, or, of course, have more playoff wins than him. So that means Joe Flacco deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Jim Plunkett still's not in the Hall of Fame. He has 2 Super Bowl rings with the Raiders.
Yep.
I mean, you have Trent Dilfer. You might put him in, right?
Yeah.
I mean, again, you see what I'm saying? You're opening up these can of worms to where, yes, I respect Matt Stafford, what he did this year, and I respect what he even did with the Lions. But what I look at Matt Stafford like is another guy who is in the Hall of Fame because he won a couple of Super Bowls later on in his career because he couldn't get over that mountaintop early in his career. He reminds me of John Elway. If he's able to win a couple of Super Bowls with the Rams, yes, he can sneak in because no disrespect to Kurt Warner, but Kurt Warner's in the Hall of Fame. And we know somebody personally that had played with Kurt Warner who feels like he's not a Hall of Famer. I'm not going to put his name out there. I'm just saying I've been told multiple times by that person he does not feel like he's a Hall of Famer. So when it comes to some of these selections of Hall of Fame people, some of these are political. It is what it is. But when we talk about, and the reason why this topic is being brought up because Richard Sherman talked about it on his podcast, and he's getting a lot of flack for what he's saying because at the end of the day, he's right. He's not wrong. And everything that he said, he's not wrong. He's correct. And Richard Sherman is a Hall of Famer. So he could say what he wants to say on who gets in the Hall because at the end of the day, Richard Sherman is going to wear a gold jacket. Matt Stafford's career is not over with yet. He's 13 years in, 14 next year, and he still has an opportunity to get a couple more playoff wins, a couple more Super Bowls, and then after that, everybody will say, you know what? Yeah, it really was the Lions. Matt Stafford is pretty damn good. He works with Sean McVay's system, and bam, 2 or 3 Super Bowls later, bam, you're in the Hall of Fame. That's what could happen, right? All right, so let's go ahead, and since we're halfway through our show, let's go ahead and talk about, of course, the Super Bowl halftime show. And let's recap what we saw in the halftime show. We already saw our boy Fraction Walnut talked about the halftime show earlier in the show, talked about how it was fire. So everybody that is tuning in, please let us know how you feel about it. I'm gonna throw it back to you and let me know how you feel about the halftime show. Top 5, best ever, gimmicky, didn't like it. What you feel about it?
You know, before the Super Bowl, I was saying I'm not gonna watch it. I didn't. I wasn't sure if I was gonna watch it. I'm glad I did though because it was fire. I was giving. I think I was giving you a hard time in the pregame.
Oh no! Oh
saying,
yeah,
like,
I know. I remember.
How can you put anything over Michael Jackson and Aerosmith and all that? And I think.
What you doing now? You over there rethinking?
Yeah, I got to put this one up there. I'm not sure if I'm saying it's the best ever, but it's definitely in the conversation. Maybe top 2. Yeah, probably top 2. Probably the best. I'm going back and forth on it, but I think it was really good. It was really good. It was great for the city. It was great for the culture. It was, I think for everybody that was in our, generation, they were rocking with it and moving and everything. It was great. Now for the younger kids, I know they didn't know who any of those people were, and for the older people,
well, for the younger kids, if they didn't know who they were, that's their daddy's fault and their parents' fault for not putting them on. Because you should know about 50, you should know about Mary J. You should know about Dr. Dre and Snoop. I'm just saying, but that's their parents' fault.
Yeah.
But
Go ahead. I'm
overall
done.
though,
Overall, yeah, it was
a
fire, bro. It was
solid
fire.
8 is what
Oh
it
yeah, it
would
was
sound
solid.
like to me.
I was rocking with it. I was dancing. It had me like really. I was like, okay, okay. And to be honest, I can't think of any Super Bowl that really I was rocking with the entire halftime show like that. Like there has been some where I thought some parts were really cool and I liked I liked portions of it. But I mean, from beginning to end, it was hitting the whole time. Now, Mary J. Blige, she did. Come on now, we were. Let me just say this, man.
Uh-oh.
We don't need any sad
What you about to
songs.
say about Mary J?
We
Oh,
don't
okay.
need
See, now I
we don't
agree.
need any sad
I
songs, bro.
100% agree.
Like that totally. I was kind of sitting there like,
Why?
huh?
Why? Like I know that's your MO, Mary J. I know. I understand. I know you know drama in your life. I got that. But you started it off hot with that no dancer read. I'm just got
Yeah,
you
and then all of a
open.
sudden,
Now you I
that was the
thought we
one part that I was like,
but then I thought we were gonna
why?
transition to somebody else, but then you hit us with that, no more drama, no more pain in your life. And I was
Like,
just like,
no,
no, this is a Super
why?
Bowl. We're supposed to be happy. We're supposed to be having
Yeah.
fun. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, man,
I don't wanna hear
it just kind of
that.
ruined it for a little minute, for a minute or so. I was like, oh,
Now, I will say this before I get to this comment. Fracture One says nothing tops Prince in the Rain in Miami, best ever, but definitely top 5. Now, here's the thing: when it comes to some people about Prince, no disrespect to Prince. Look, Michael Jackson is over Prince. I know it hurts people's feelings when I say that, but Michael Jackson, Prince, cool and all. I understand. Again, everybody love Prince due to Dave Chappelle and the Dave Chappelle stories and whatnot. I got that. I fuck with Prince, but Prince, he just don't do it for me. No disrespect, just respectfully, he just don't do it for me. So I'm not putting Prince over some of the performances I've seen. But anywho, of course, everybody is talking about one of the main people that was in the show, of course, 50 Cent, and him looking, I guess, a little bigger. But
like
I
two
will
dollars
say
and fifty
this.
cents.
I will say this though. If you actually go look at a video clip that they have of 50 Cent getting prepared to do the drop down when we saw him hanging from from the Raptors, as we remember him back in the day and in 2000 in the club. Of course, we remember that popular song back in the day. If you go back and go re-watch him getting set up and actually pulling himself up, getting himself in place, then dropping down, and then also taking himself off of the scalpel to fall down. I know everybody's getting on him and thinking that he's fat, but no disrespect, that's some muscle right there, boy. 50 still got it. I know people want to get on him, but that's some strength right there. And shout out to 50. And one thing we know about 50 gonna make some money after this performance. I don't know if anybody saw his Twitter. He was after the performance, he was quick to put up his merchandise information. So pretty sure most people went ahead and caught them a G Unit tank top as well after this show. But overall, I honestly think the performance was pretty nice. The only thing I was disappointed in, I will say, is I was expecting a Tupac hologram. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I was
I
waiting
was
for that.
expecting a
I was
Tupac
waiting for that to
hologram
pop up.
because I felt like if the Tupac hologram was going to pop up, that was going to shut everything down. Now, and of course, not even just a Tupac hologram. I thought it was maybe going to be a Nipsey tribute. I thought maybe they would do a Nipsey, show a picture of him in the background, like in the sky. Like I don't know. I thought they were going to do something maybe for Nipsey. But overall, I'm satisfied. I thought it was a solid 8. I think it's an easy top 5, but I'm not going to put it in my favorite halftime just yet. But overall, I think it was pretty great. All right, let's go ahead and get into, of course, another talking points of the Super Bowl. Why people watch Super Bowl? The commercials. We won't talk too long on this, but I guess I'll start it off first when it comes to did everybody like the commercials? Did you not like the commercials? I've seen a lot of pushback on the commercials this year. A lot of people felt like they were whack. They weren't that good, and I completely understand. But I think we can all agree the most talked about commercial easily should be the QR bouncing code around the TV screen by Coinbase. And that was one of 7 cryptocurrency commercials that was during the Super Bowl run, which is, again, look, I know old people don't like crypto and don't want to be talking about it, but if you don't like crypto, you're gonna be real sorry later on 10 years from now when everybody else got their crypto money and you ain't got nothing. So I'm not endorsing anything. All I'm saying is maybe have a little open mind and maybe you want to look into it and see what it's about because it's not going anywhere. So with that being said, Ish, do you think the the Coinbase ad with the QR code bouncing around that crashed the website was the best ad, or do you have another ad out here that was better or more memorable?
I mean, I think that was the most talked about, and so it was the most memorable. If it was the best one, I don't know. I didn't really care for any of the commercials. I was busy getting food during most of the commercials. I think for me, the one that stood out to me because I had the biggest reaction to it was as a dad. I'm watching the Super Bowl and I'm not expecting to see a Barbie commercial during the Super Bowl.
Oh,
And then this Barbie
the
commercial
Rocket
come on.
Mortgage.
Yeah, and it turned into like a whole house Thursday. And
Yes,
I thought that was kind
yes.
of funny. And
I
I
thought
was
it was
like, oh, okay,
hilarious.
that's funny because my daughter's in here watching it with me and she got all excited. The Barbie commercial came on. Then she started talking about people putting offers on the house. I could see her face. She was kind of like, what? so yeah, I laughed at that one, and I had to show my wife that one, and we were laughing about it. So that one got to go going for me because I remember it because my daughter was totally confused that how this go from a Barbie commercial to talking about putting in offers on houses and stuff.
I
But
thought it was
yeah,
hilarious too because I'm in the process of trying to get a house, and that's exactly what we're going through. All of that, so I thought it was completely
yeah,
hilarious as well too.
it's a really good market.
I Yeah, that shit was
Oh
hilarious.
man,
Fracture One also says the Doctor Strange trailer was the best. Now I
oh yeah,
actually
that was a
missed
good
that.
one.
I'm upset that I missed that one. I might have to go and rewatch that. I did not see the Doctor Strange trailer. That is very interesting. I also thought that the all the electric car commercials were pretty cool. I mean, I know a lot of people have pushback, especially look, we live in the state of Texas where they love them some oil. Oil is king around here. That's liquid gold over here in Texas, and that's very threatening to this economy. How people feel about electric cars, but sooner or later, hey, the electric vehicles from all makes and all companies are coming. Not just a Tesla thing. So it'd be interesting to see from where in our generation we get to see how some of these the Prius the first generation the electric cars these first generations to see where they started and where they are now. I just think it's pretty unique because let's be real, ish, they're not really going to be where they should be until our kids are going to be 25 years old. So that's what's going to be really interesting to see the transformation of how these electric vehicles go from only getting 300 miles a charge to 1,000 miles a charge. So overall, though, the commercials 1 out of 10, I give it a solid 5. Again, I think there were some
Yeah,
good
man.
ones, but it wasn't any. The commercials weren't what they should have been. I think in previous Super Bowl years. I think everybody can kind of
Yeah.
agree on that. All right, let's get back to football and let's talk about some things that you think that you probably wouldn't even think about, but these guys put it out there. And I'm starting off with Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald put it out there before the game started that he felt like if he wasn't to win the Super Bowl that he might retire. He got interviewed, of course, after the Super Bowl win, and they asked him as well, "Hey, are you going to retire?" He said, "quote I just want to live in the moment," unquote. And I think, of course, me being selfish, I don't think he's retiring anytime soon. I think that he will be here for another 3 or 4 more years to prove that he is, like you just said, Ish, or you. I'm sorry, the comparison of him and Warren Sapp. I think he will over his career will be better than Warren Sapp. But I understand why Aaron Donald would feel, a type of way too when it comes to look, man, I put my body, my mental, my physical being for the love of this game, and I can't keep doing this all my life. But overall, the way I kind of see this playing out, and I could be wrong, I think this is kind of like leverage. I think this is leverage when it comes to negotiating your contract moving forward with the Rams. When it comes to, hey, I don't want to take all the money, but I want to make sure that I do get taken care of because of all the work that I do put in for this team, especially on the defense side of the ball. So, Ish, I'll throw it to you. Will Aaron Donald retire?
I don't know. It wouldn't be the first really strange retirement or early retirement that we've had. Luke Kuechly is the one that comes to mind
Yeah,
of like a
yeah.
great defender who retires kind of early. Some people would say like what's his name? Andrew Luck is another one. So I don't know for sure, but if he does, I mean, he's done some great things. He's had what? He's played 8 seasons, and 7 of those he was
All
Pro
pro.
Bowler and first team All Pro.
All
So
pro. Yeah. I mean, that right there itself is you walk to the Hall of Fame.
yeah, so I mean, if he were, I don't blame him. I think he maybe sticks around maybe one, two more years or so. But it sounds like he's already kind of considering it. So I wouldn't be surprised if 2 more years he's done. But why not come back and run it back? There's no need. I mean, it's kind of early, but
And why you
that's
on there?
selfish of me.
I
I'm
mean,
not the
it
one
is.
playing.
It's selfish of both of us. I have no problem acknowledging that, but I just don't see, like you said, Ish, for this team. They're not gonna be able to keep all the pieces. Odell, unfortunately, might not be on the team next year. Von Miller might not be on the team. But for the core that you do have right now, Cooper Kupp, again, Robert Woods should be back on defense side of the ball. Run it back. You don't know what's going to happen next year. Who knows? You might make a trade as well too that helps you, like Von Miller did for the defense this year. And you run it back. But it's interesting to even have Aaron Donald even throw that out there in the win, because one thing that I talk about all the time with my football mentor is when you are an athlete and you even think about retiring, that's when
It's not far away. It's not
exactly,
far away. If you're thinking
exactly.
about it and you starting to consider it seriously, yeah, it's not far away.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Also, Fracture One also says Patrick Willis. Also, he's talking about, of course,
Yep.
players that retired
Yep.
early, and Patrick Willis is definitely a Hall of Famer in my book. That is a madman possessed in the middle linebacker for, of course, the San Francisco 49ers. And, of course, another gentleman on the Rams as well, the head coach. Apparently, he got asked as well, will he be back next year to coach the Rams? Quote from Sean McVay, we'll see, unquote, which you usually don't get that type of response back from a coach that just won the Super Bowl, right? Usually
Hmm.
it's yeah, let's go run it back, or yeah, I can't wait to celebrate this trophy with my guys, and we'll talk to you about it this later on, and then like he just said we'll see. So again, what I'm trying to figure out is this a leverage move? Are you trying to make more money? Through ownership. Is there a problem between you and ownership to where you're not seeing eye to eye on certain things? Do you want to test the waters and do it? Because I didn't think about it until I heard through the grapevine on ESPN. They talked about, what if Sean McVay is our generation John Madden, where you coach, until your early 30s, and then you're in the booth for 20, 30 years. And you make more money in the booth, and you make more money doing things outside of football, but because of how great that you were, you're able to still project your football expertise in other ways, right? Maybe he could do something like that. But for you to be the youngest coach to go to a Super Bowl, which was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and then also now to be the youngest head coach to win a Super Bowl, which he topped Mike Tomlin on that one. I don't understand where this retirement mindset is even coming from. Like I'm confused on this one. Maybe you can help me out, but I'm looking at it like, why would you want to retire? Why don't you run it back? You're in LA. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. I mean, you're making nice little money. I mean, you take care of your business, Sean McVay, and it just came in left field. So can you help me out?
No, I don't really know where this came from. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's trying to um I don't know if he's trying to get leverage for a better contract or what it is, but to me, it seems to be this new wave of guys in the sport, whether it's coaching, whether it's players. Um, they don't have a problem ending early for some reason. They don't have a problem
Because
walking away.
let's be real too. It's this generation too when it comes to we have a lot more options than back in the day where you were strictly forced to only go this one avenue to make money.
Well,
We
that
see in our
and
generation there's so many different avenues to make money where Sean McVay's like, look, I ain't gotta be a coach. The grind on a head coach throughout the year is very, very stressful, not just on the individual, but also your family, right? We've
yep.
seen different coaches, your head coach, Andy Reid, with what goes on with his sons. I mean, and also other coaches around the league where families have been destroyed due to you as a head coach have
Yeah,
been
that time
coached
commitment,
to
man.
exactly. So I can understand why Sean McVay feels like, I want to have this balance in my life to where I don't have to kill myself to prove to these coaches, these grumpy old coaches that I'm better than y'all when I've already proven that I'm better than y'all. I've already came in here, won a Super Bowl, maybe won a second one, and I'm out. And it's taking some of y'all 20, 30 years just to win one. Maybe he could pull that type of rabbit out of his hat. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
the other thing to consider is that the players, coaches, everyone in the business, they're making a lot more money than they used to make,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes,
So,
sir.
it's not hard to walk away after a couple of years, especially if you're getting, if you're one of the people making the biggest money at your position. Um, yeah, why not? So I think there is a lot more financial freedom. There's a lot more options, like you said, to stick around the sport, but not necessarily be in the sport and have the same time commitment. So
Yep.
I don't know where it's coming from, but I'm interested to see if he does retire, if Aaron Donald decides to retire, Rob Gronkowski, if he decides to retire. There's a lot of people out here that, we'll have to see what they decide to do moving forward, but it just makes the offseason all that more
That much
interesting.
more fun. Yep, yep. And of course, we'll be here, the X Talking Ish, to let y'all know what's going on. We'll be here. We'll be here every Tuesday. We ain't going nowhere just because the season's over. We'll be here. I promise y'all, the NFL season, I'm sorry, the NFL as a brand, it don't stop. It's 24/7. Also, Fractional Walnut says McVay 2K32. I can see it. That'd be hilarious,
Hey,
though. I
we'll
mean,
see.
hey, who knows why? Nobody ever thought John Madden would have a video game, right? So,
I don't think they'll ever go away from Madden now,
I mean,
unless the
Madden.
family, the naming rights becomes too expensive for them or something. I don't know, but
Madden needs some competition. When 2K was
oh,
out
they
there,
do, they
when
do for
2K
sure.
was
Yeah,
out
they
there, it
need
made
some
Madden better.
competition.
Okay, so it needs
Yeah,
to.
yeah,
It's
they need
you can't
something.
have you can't have Madden be the only football
They
game
they
out
too
there.
lazy.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right, before we get up out of here tonight, we'll ask the simple question: who has the best chance of getting back to the Super Bowl? Now, of course, history shows usually the loser of the Super Bowl, it takes them a while to get back. Last time the loser Super Bowl got back to the Super Bowl was, of course, the Patriots, as always, Mr. Tom Brady. But other than that, usually percentage wise, it's not in the favor of the loser of the Super Bowl. So going into next season, a lot of the question marks are mainly on the Rams when it comes to is Sean McVay going to be there? Is Aaron Donald going to be there? What are they going to do with Odell? What are they going to do with all the other players that are over the cap? What's going to happen with the Bengals? It seems like the one question that everybody has is what the hell are you going to do with the offensive line, right? Who are you going to replace on there to make sure that they are able to protect Joe Burrow? They have some holes here and there that they can fill out, but for them as a young team, they want to, of course, build on that momentum going forward. But here's where we stop everybody. I feel like we've seen this before, right? We always feel like, man, this Kansas City Chief team can all of a sudden be a dynasty. No disrespect, I'm just putting it out there. Oh,
You're a
this
hater.
this this Seattle Seahawks team could be a dynasty. Oh, this Indianapolis Colts team with Peyton Manning can be this. Oh, Aaron Rodgers is going to get back to the Super Bowl. Oh, we always say this is going to happen until we play it out, and now all of a sudden, 12 years pass and Aaron Rodgers still haven't been back to the Super Bowl. Dan Marino went to Super Bowl one time his sophomore year in the NFL and never went back. I'm not saying it will happen to Joe Burrow, but we can't automatically assume, like Fracture Walnut said earlier in the show, just imagine Joe Burrow had an offensive line. Okay, well, if we upgrade that offensive line next year and they don't get to the Super Bowl, then what? Right? Because football is crazy like that. We saw it this past year where, again, the Tennessee Titans had everybody healthy. Everybody was ready to go win a playoff game at home, and Joe Burrow come in there and say, fuck your couch. So football is a crazy game from time to time. It's about momentum. It's about playing right at the right time. It's about teams clicking at the right time. It's a lot of those right things happening at the right time. And for the Bengals, their division, surprisingly, if you literally do look at it, I don't know what the Steelers are going to look like next year.
It might be theirs to lose next year.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what the Bengals are going to look like next year. I don't know what the Browns are going to look like next year with Baker Mayfield and his mental self on does he have his, is he going to be able to play his best when he's not, playing his best, if you know what I mean, because of the way Cleveland has treated him. And then also you go to, of course, the Baltimore Ravens and all the injured players that they're going to be bringing back. I'm not saying that they're going to take that division over, but Lamar Jackson, again, is an MVP as well in himself. So that division will be back up for grabs to where Cincinnati's going to have to prove to not just the rest of the NFL, but also in that division that they are the top dogs now, right? They're still going to have to prove to everybody else that they are the top dogs. And that's an interesting division to watch next year going to the season. But I just to answer the question, I easily have to give it to the Rams just due to, like I said earlier, the trade validated himself by winning the Super Bowl. The pressure is now off. We can kind of go out there and play a little bit more free now. I don't know if that's going to make them play as well. Maybe the pressure helps them, but you don't have to worry about winning a Super Bowl right now. So I think for them to be able to get back to the Super Bowl, I think is very highly, unless they play the 49ers, because it seems like that's the only team that really that gives them that type of trouble, or maybe the bad little Tyler in Arizona. Maybe they might clip them up. But for the most part, Tom Brady's gone. So, on the NFC side, hey, who knows? Aaron Rodgers might be a Bronco next year. So we have to, of course, I hate saying this, but we have to wait and see what happens in the offseason. I do love it. It's just the honest truth that we do have to wait and see what happens before we can say, bam, this team is automatically going to make a Super Bowl because of what happened in a previous year. So, Ish?
I think I agree with a lot of what you said. Who has the best chance? I have to agree with you. The Rams have the best chance. And I'm going to say it has nothing to do with the Cincinnati Bengals and not believing, thinking oh, this is a Cinderella story. There's no way they could do it again. It has everything to do with the conference that they play in. I mean, when you think of who they will have to go through once again to get there,
Herbert,
you think of Herbert, Mahomes,
the Titans,
Allen,
Mahomes,
the Titans,
Allen. Yeah, I mean,
it's Lamar Jackson. I mean, it's so stacked on the AFC side right now that I feel like the road on the NFC is a lot easier to get through, especially if you think of Aaron Rodgers might not be on the NFC next year. Mm-hmm. Tom Brady's already gone. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen with New Orleans in their situation at quarterback? I mean, you're looking at the NFC, and there aren't very many teams on that side that you can look at and say, oh, yeah, they're set at the quarterback position. Not to mention that they're set on other areas of their team that may help carry a weaker quarterback, right? Like Arizona, we don't know what they're going to look like. They had a great first half. There's a situation going on right now with Kyler Murray, and a lot of people will point to DeAndre Hopkins getting hurt and not being there. So Hopkins coming back, does that, revitalize the team? Does that make them play better next year and they come out of the gates like they did this year? Who knows? But you got to think from a standpoint of the LA Rams, the opportunity to maybe play them 3 times in the year. Let's look at the San Francisco 49ers this year. They lost the 2 games during the season. They come into it when it matters, and they were able to pull it out in that 3rd one. So even if they get swept during the season, you still feel like maybe the Rams get that shot in the playoffs in the 3rd game, and they win that game. So, I mean, there's so much there, but who knows?
Yes, sir. Football is a funny game like that, and woo, that'll do it for 2021 to 2022 when it comes to this NFL season. Looks like my boy Ish over here has to make sure he has to take this very important phone call. So we're gonna be very, very quiet for him. We gotta make sure that Ish is taking care of his business. But other than that, we appreciate everybody for tuning in all season long. Of course, we appreciate the people that are tuning in on podcasts. Trust me, I see the numbers on the podcast. I appreciate everybody tuning in all around the world. I see my folks out in Germany. I know who listening. I appreciate my German folks out there listening, trying to tune into American football. And we will be back. If not next Tuesday, we're going to wait and see. We're going to wait and see if we're going to have a show next Tuesday. We're going to take a week off. But we'll definitely be back the week after that when it comes to updating everybody what's going on in the off season. Yes, to answer a Fractured Walnut's question, because I know you're going to ask. Yes, the draft special will be in full effect. We are coming with y'all live with the draft, and we'll make sure that we'll keep everybody up to date. But overall, hey, when Ish gets off this muted mic, he'll I'm pretty sure say the same thing when it comes to it. It's been a hell of a ride this year. We appreciate everybody for tuning in this year. Again, the off season is going to be even more wild. We want everybody to please tune in to make sure we keep y'all updated on everything that's going on in the NFL. And more merchandise will be on its way. More features added to the show will be added as well moving forward. So, look, we're trying to get bigger and better. We're trying to get both of our studios expanded even more. It's going to be a hell of a ride moving forward. So please, just stay with us and just see the growth. All right, see the growth in what we do. Believe in us the same way we believe in y'all. Believe in us the same way Matt Stafford believes in Cooper Kupp's going to be in that hole to catch that football. Okay, believe in us.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just saying. All righty then. Travis Crow says 100. That's what we keep it.
Appreciate y'all.
That's how
man.
he keeps it. And we gonna again get up out of here on that note and. Hey, it's been a hell of a ride. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the offseason, sir.
Yeah, see you in the